Hello everyone, I am PyroFalkon, and this is Princess Maker 2 Regeneration, which I was given for free from the developer. So every time I have played Princess Maker 2, or any Princess Maker, or any raisin game on the channel, I have always gone in without a plan. I tried to wing it, and I've tried to just see what happens when the natural father of the year material here does what he does best and raises his daughters to perfect perfection, redundancy and all. Well, this time, I've decided to go in with a plan. But first, in order to talk about what the plan is, let me remind you that if you've been watching these series, every time I raise a daughter in any Princess Maker, I name her after my favorite dead or alive waifus. And so I need to introduce you to Nyotengu. Now, I'm not going to get into her whole deal, because fighting game lore is insane, but Nyotengu is a demon person, sort of, and she's come to the planet, and every interaction she has involves trying to understand humanity a little bit more, to the point where she now turns absolutely everything into a double entendre. She is aggressively flirty, and she just tries to dominate everything to the point where even when she loses a fight, she appears to be, she tries to pose herself into sultry type of poses. So I have a specific idea in mind, and any Princess Maker 2 veterans may know where I'm going with it. We'll get there eventually, but back to the game, we're going to open up with buying her a summer dress and a winter dress, which I kind of don't need to do. But I've also learned a bunch about Princess Maker 2. I checked a lot of information between runs. So here on my Steam notes, this is our goal for Operation Worst Father Ever. We need to get her refinement over 200, her glamour over 200, her morality needs to be less than 29, her sin count will either be over 100 or over 250 depending on her morality. We also need to get her fighting reputation up, her artistry and eloquence need to be up as well. And like any good story of someone who gets corrupted and goes to the dark path, we're going to send her to church to open up her life here and the farm, I suppose. So, just a quick tip for any of you who play this game yourself. The reason you want to try to get them to have some degree of morality early on is because the stress number shown here, right now it's stress 8, is the main driver of whether she behaves herself or not. If her stress is more than her stamina, she'll get sick. If her stress is higher than either morality or faith, whichever is higher, then she will probably turn into a delinquent. And we can't have that. We can't have either of those things, especially not the delinquency, because we are going to be really pushing the morality and faith thing, and we're going to need to tank it eventually. So having a little bit of it early is going to help us out. So things are going to be very by the book at first. This is part of the reason why I never wanted to play this way, because when you come in with a goal in mind, the game becomes a checklist. But what I didn't factor in when I initially thought of the run is this also turns it into a puzzle game, which now it becomes, okay, here's the goal I need to get to. Do I know how to manipulate the system, the numbers, to get her to where I need to be? I did do another run that had nothing to do with any of this. I did not practice this run. However, I did learn a little bit more because I was more aggressive with... just rest. I was a little bit more aggressive with certain choices that I made with my last run. Now, I could make this more efficient by changing the timing of her birthday and everything. For example, the fact that they go to the Harvest Festival on the 1st October, if you make her birthday November, then that maximizes the amount of time you have until that first Harvest Festival. But I don't need to worry about that right now. Right now, we just need to make sure she goes to church a bunch, she does a lot of farm work that'll get her morality, faith, and stamina up. And it's going to feel like a waste at first. I think my main problem with Princess Maker is that I always find that the first couple years are a waste, but I'm also impatient, and so I want to try to force the issue and give her a lot more stats early, but that's just going to hurt you in the long run. So your goal, especially when she's 10, is just get faith and morality up to over 100 and get stamina up to over 100. Now, by the time we're done here, if everything goes according to plan, I'm going to aim to get her stamina up to over 550 as early as possible, but we need to get her morality up first. That way, when I really push to try to get her stamina up there, she's not going to immediately freak out and start being a delinquent on me. It's also important because money is going to be extremely touchy here. Luckily, I know some better ways to get money, tested those out, was shocked at how well they work. It's so strange because it always feels, again, like your first 2 years are a waste, and then after I did the first couple years a specific way, and then found those money things, it felt like I had all the money in the world. So, we just have to get through the opening a little bit. Another thing I will add for tips is your ending is usually extremely dependent. Oh gosh, I have this already. Yeah, I'll take the... that's tough this early, but we'll take the Spirit Ring. Oh, now she's sick. Not great, because I wasn't paying attention to the numbers, but we'll give her some time off. She'll be alright. We'll give her 2 time offs and then send her right back to the farm. That's because I let stress now at 85 higher than stamina. I should have had her do 1 time off there, but I did not. Anyway, the numbers that mainly depend no, stop it. The numbers that mainly inform your ending are the reputations here. The fighter reputation, magic reputation, social reputation, and housekeeper reputation. And the reason our last girl, Tamaki, was a housekeeper is because her house reputation was higher than any other reputation that we had. However, there are certain endings where reputation does not matter, and the ending we're shooting for is one of those. So, will it work? Will it not work? I don't know. We're gonna find out. And that is the start of this. She'll be fine. Cube. Almost called you Colt for some reason. Am I mixing you up with Coltia from Monster Rancher 2? I don't know. What I do know is I'm very hot, and I need to get my personal fan. I'm very awake today, too, which I shouldn't be because I've been up for many hours, but my body is not cooperating with me, and therefore I'm gonna have to do some other dumb horseshit. Okay, so, I've taken a bunch of notes. I'm going to... there's an FAQ writer. Hold on. I'm gonna pause the episode so I can credit him. Here, on GameFAQs.com, you want to look for the guide by Rayquaza Star. It's a very good guide and got me a lot of the information I have, although some of it is now no longer accurate. This was, I think, written for the beta, although it does say it came out in 2020. That might have been when Refine came out. I don't remember for sure. But anyway, that was an excellent guide. There's also a Princess Maker wiki that I got the rest of my information from. So, anyway, right now we are poor, but we need to get her going on learning farming. And the reason we took that Spirit Ring is because we will get $1,000 profit on it eventually. Unfortunately, it's going to take a while before we get to that point, but if I don't buy it now, it's going to be a long time before I can buy it in the future, and I don't need the money immediately, so spending the $1,000 now will be okay. And especially as long as we keep doing 2 farms and a time off, that's all she'll need, and she'll be fine. Now, with her faith now at 132, that's all the faith I need for the moment. And I guess I don't really need to talk to this guy anymore. Oh yeah, that's why I brought up the FAQ. So, the way those people work, I have this note for Palace People info. So, the Palace Guard will talk to you as long as you have at least 10 decorum. He'll give you 1 popularity for every 5 refinement, up to 15 max per visit, and 40 maximum total. And that's what he gave me. What's our renown up to? Our renown is 40, started at 0. So he is maxed out. We can't get any more renown from him for the rest of this run. I use the word renown, or popularity rather than renown here, because the different translations translated the word differently. So it goes. It doesn't matter. All that matters is he's maxed out, and we can't get any more from him. But it won't matter, because that's not our goal anyway. In fact, the only reason I was talking to him in the first place was because I was bored, and wanted to give him some renown, give her, Nyotengu, some renown, for no damn reason, because it has nothing to do with our ending. Renown is not here. Now, I think the hardest ones are going to be Artistry plus Elegance equaling 80. Now, only because that's going to require classes, it's going to require money, and because I haven't tested this specific run yet, this specific ending, I don't know how easy it will be for me to finagle the numbers, but we're going to try. And it should work out in our favor, because testing my other personal run before, once you get stamina up to about 500, you can abuse the shit out of certain mechanics in this game. And now that I know that, I'm going to. Part of that is also the adventuring. I think I did a little adventuring with Tamaki, but she got the crap kicked out of her, partly because I didn't know the system. And this game, and games of its ilk, are all about time management. It's maximizing the amount of things you can do, the numbers you can raise, before your time is expired, because you only have so many turns before it's over. And that's why these early days are so important to get going. It also makes it a little too samey, and this is what I don't like about the games, that, or at least not going in with a plan, because when I go in with a plan, and I know how to min-max, it becomes very samey. She's going to go to church, she's going to do farm work. This is going to work for just about any type of ending you want for your first 2 years. What matters is what happens after your first 2 years. But for this run, since I've done, 6 runs of various princess makers prior to this where I never had a plan, and this one being Nyotengu's turn, I've decided why not, right? Let's go in with a plan, let's do some weird, crazy horse shit, and let's become the worst father any of these girls have ever dealt with in their lives. But you can see how easily this is going as long as you min-max a little bit. We've already got our stamina to 160. That's about a third of the way that I need it. 500 would be good. 550 was the stamina of my previous personal run. And holy crap, 550 was just about perfect. That's about all I needed to make it work. So as long as we get to that point, everything should be fine. And I'm very curious if there are any, I almost said Monster Rancher again, Princess Maker 2 aficionados who know the ending I'm going for. You can, of course, reverse engineer it, because I've shown you what what the numbers are that I'm aiming for, but I would kindly ask that you do not put in the comments what ending I'm attempting, especially because I want to keep this a surprise for anyone who may not know. Hey! Hello, Nyotengu. I am not going to buy you a present. Actually, I can afford it. Hold on, wait. Sensitive. Okay. I can afford any of those. I will need more than 200 in refinement, so that would actually help me out in the long term. I don't need the intelligence, and I don't need the sensitivity. So yeah, let's buy her a teacup. Why not? Let's get her a little bit of refinement. So as long as that item stays in my inventory, she'll have 10 points of refinement. It's not really all that helpful, especially since right now, working at the farm means she loses refinement, but refinement can't go below 0, so once it zeroes out, we can just sell the teacup for a little bit of extra money, and she likes me a little bit better. It doesn't matter. We're getting far more money than I thought we would this early, because even in my last file, I didn't go this hard for stamina this early, and I'm pleasantly surprised how well this is going to work. She's going to have enough money that I think she's going to be in pretty good shape for a while. Now, we won't be able to min-max her money for a few years after that, but if we can get her stamina to 500, we'll be alright. Now, there's not worth going to the Harvest Festival either. Oh, this will only be a 4-episode run, too, because we're going to do 2 years per episode, regardless of how long that takes. But since I'm not explaining every little thing I'm doing, if it wasn't for all the misclicks, then we're going to be just blasting through months. Time is going to melt away, and that's totally fine. Quicker this goes, quicker we can get to our ending, where I'm sure everything will be fine. Okay, so her morality might be a problem in the long run, or the medium run, because I don't want it that low. I wanted to keep it around 100. Okay, now, we've got $2,000, the merchant's gonna come back. Or not. Usually he comes back. Wow, okay. But now the stamina is that high and we have no more money problem, I can now actually work her 3 times a month. We only need to rest her once every other month now, because we can give her pocket money, which will drop her stress even faster. So it's all about min-maxing, all about knowing how the system works. And one fun thing about Princess Maker is that none of the Princess Makers were identical, so even knowing the tips and tricks for Princess Maker 2, I still couldn't take everything I'm learning here and do the same thing in any of the other Princess Makers, especially 5. 5 is just all sorts of crazy with its modern setting and its more ridiculous stuff that it does. Yep, okay, there's the merchant. Let's see. The Venus necklace. So the Venus necklace gives... Is it the Venus necklace? No, it's the demon pendant. Right? I think it's the demon pendant that I want. I think it's the demon pendant. You wind up trading that to a demon for a spell that really helps you out in the long term. And the sooner you get that going, the better. One thing I will not do here is save scum. If I screw up the errand trees, so be it, man. We're gonna just go ahead and do that. We're going to accept the loss. But you can already see at $1,300, we were making bank compared to our run with Tamaki. And this is very reliable. Apparently farm work is like the best job for a 10-year-old because it's hard for her to screw it up, and it makes a pretty reasonable amount of money, especially because by the time wealthier jobs come along, if she's been doing nothing but farm work, then she's got so many bonuses that it just piles up, and she's just loaded with cash. And that is what you want. You need someone who's rich and someone who's strong, and then everything is easier in life. It's almost like real life. Keep it going, Nyotengu. You got this. I wonder if the real Nyotengu, the DOA Nyotengu, would be proud of this. Proud of the work we're doing here. So our next short-term plan is once she hits 12 years old, because her stamina is this high, we're going to attempt one errantry. And if we do it right, we'll get $800, and we'll get to trade the ring in. I don't think she's going to be able to do anything otherwise, but we sure as hell can try, because there's really no downside to her getting the crap kicked out of her in an errantry, except that it stops the errantry, and it increases her relationship with Cube. So there is a special ending where she marries the butler, and one of the best ways to do that is to just have her go into the forest and get her ass kicked. And you just do that every month until it maximizes their relationship, and then the game's over. And then they get married and do weird shit, and then probably have bat children, and it's fine. But in this time, for this one, we have a much different, much more specific goal in mind. So it's already March in year 3. Keep working at the farm, keep working at the farm, keep working at the farm, and get that stamina up. Now that her stamina is so high, we don't need to worry about her stress zeroing out. We just need to keep it below 132 for now, because that is the larger number between faith and morality. We don't want her running off. Toward the end, where she's going to be a delinquent, since we're going to have to completely tank faith, or rather we'll have to tank morality, but we don't have to tank faith. However, faith is a currency. We can trade her faith in God to make her better at certain things, which I don't want to do, but it might be a release valve in case I mistime a couple other things, and certain milestones don't actually happen the way I want them to. But, so that's why we're banking faith. Morality, we want to get to 0 by the time this is all said and done. So, the hardest thing to do with, or the riskiest thing to do with the plan is if she does become a delinquent, and if she does get arrested, that tanks her reputations, and one reputation must be 250 or more. Specifically, her fighter reputation must be 250 or more. I should be able to pull that off, especially with her stamina being high. But since I've never done this run before, you never know, man. Things might go very sideways by the time we're done with all this. She's making bank, though, man. We've got nearly $3,000 already. She's not even 12 yet. I've got all the money in the world that I need. And to the point where we can just give her pocket money on every single time off, and we're not even going to feel the price at all. Also, I'm breathing really well. I know I'm speaking random shit, but like, this is like the first time I've recorded or streamed in a long time that I have been breathing okay. At least for the last couple months, because my allergies have been going nuts. No, I don't need my fortune told. Especially since right now, the direction she's heading is very much not where we want her to wind up. So, don't worry about it, lady. I know all. Daddy knows best. Daddy knows best for Nyotengu. Yeah, I know you're back. Okay. Wow, Stamina's going to get to 400 before I take my first errantry. I've never done it that efficiently, and holy crap, is that going to pay off. We might be able to do a lot more than I think we can. So while we're doing errantry, we'll even do a little bit of testing. Yeah, because this is July. Oh my god. I'm going to get 400. Oh, this is great. Okay. From what I gather, most of the endings have survived the PlayStation release. This is the PC release, of course. Although the PC release does work just well with a gamepad, I did test it out with the PlayStation controller and it works fine. But the PlayStation version of the game did cut some things out, which includes the you marry your dad ending. I think the marry Cube ending may also be no longer there, but I can't remember. But luckily this is the PC version, and all they did was censor some of the nudity. But other than that, the game is purely intact with a decent translation. So I highly recommend, if you've never played Princess Maker before, get Princess Maker 2 Regeneration. I think the price is a little high, because this is a $40 game, but it's so fun, and there's so much replayability if you want to see everything it has to offer. But we've already gone through 2 years of Nyotengu's life. In the next episode, we're going to send her on her first errantry, hopefully get that, and then we're going to adjust how she's raised from here on out with our $3,300, which will soon be a lot higher, and things are looking good for her. Just wait until she hits adulthood. Thank you all very much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow for another episode.